What were some of the most difficult obstacles you had to face?
Oh yeah, true. I would say that the most difficult thing was not necessarily like a concrete moment or event or anything like that, but sort of just trying to actually, having all these ideas and hopes for the school and, having to choose which ones to go with and, be realistic about things because, I think when we went into it, we wanted so much, and then when you get there, it sort of hits you like it's actually a lot harder than you would think it is. And I think that I would say that was the most difficult thing, that having to choose and make a decision on what was really the most important to us, even though everything sort of was.
I think kind of learning the ropes of how the school kind of runs. We had an idea to do a field day, kind of a big event at the end of the semester, where all the students could kind of get together in Central Park or something and have a big field day. But there's a lot of technicalities to that, like Central Park doesn't let us do certain things, and like the school can't be responsible for if someone gets hurt. So I guess kind of like when you have ideas that can't necessarily be done in this setting, it's a little frustrating, but it's definitely something that once you learn it, you kind of can just grow from there.
Phil, do you have a question that you'd like to ask?
Yeah. This question is for Marcelo. What would you think VASA's biggest strength is currently, and what is their biggest weakness, and how would you work to try and change it?
VASA's biggest strength is just helping other students in need, not just academic with their work and everything, but also keeping things positive in their minds. And the weakness, I guess, budgeting. So if elected treasurer, I'll do my best to figure out what is worth spending and what is not.
Larry, do you have a question that you'd like to ask?
Sometimes in schools, governments create things and then they tend to fall apart after they leave. So what would you like to see maintained in your school?
Property left. Oh,
So I just want to make sure I get the question right. The things we want to see not fall apart, right? Okay. I've seen a lot of startup clubs, just in the semester that I've been here, collapse after a semester. Whether it's the stress of running it, the lack of budget, whatever the case may be, everybody comes in, lots of freshmen especially, they're going to start a club because they find out, relatively how easy it is, and by next semester they're burnt out, they can't handle it. So I'd like to instate some sort of method of supporting them in a way to make sure that, these clubs, which oftentimes have great ideas, are great concepts for a club, don't fall apart just because of the intensity of being a club, I guess.
One of the things we started was the KAVA committee, which works with KAVA, and I think to have students currently, who are current students, working with KAVA in the creation of new clothing is really important because a lot of students have complained about the selection at KAVA, and having students giving their input even when our staff has moved on is really important. So.
Even though we haven't started it yet, so it can't fall apart, hopefully once we do start it, it won't fall apart. I would like to see the Student Ambassadors program maintain itself, because I think that that's actually maybe, hopefully, the answer to a lot of the problems we have here at SVA. I think communicating with the different majors, since we're at a school where we all sort of separate each other from each each other. We stay separate. I think that a student ambassador program will really help people to be able to voice their opinions, not only for their specific majors, but the things that they're hearing from the people within that major. And, you know, I never would have known about the cleanliness of the painting rooms or something like that. And so I think that a student ambassador will, or senator, sorry, will really be able to help. And so I think that that's the answer that we need. So I wouldn't want that to fall apart.
Mr. Haley, you have a question?
Yes, I do.
Why are dog noses cold?
I'm just kidding.
What would you do to look for scholarships for all students, all majors?
Was that specifically for radio?
I jumped because I'm treasurer, running for treasurer. The standard that's been set in academia so far, the biggest schools can give the most money. It's not necessarily the school has the most money. Lots of the schools that give tons of money have lower tuitions than SVA does. It's not SVA who's responsible for giving out huge scholarships. It's actually alumni. Alumni at schools, huge schools, state schools, Harvard, Yale, things like that, where lots of people can get a full ride. The money's actually provided by alumni. So the best way to get money like that to students in a student's hand is to actually contact alumni and try and set up a fund. Just because SVA is in our school doesn't mean that the alumni are starving artists. There are plenty of very well-to-do alumni. So, contacting them and seeing if they have an interest in SVA may be all it takes to actually get funds into the hands of students who earn it.
I think contacting big corporate companies might be a good idea. There was an issue earlier this year with the vending machines and serving Pepsi products as opposed to Coke products, and then they would offer us a scholarship for students at our school. And that kind of thing is awesome. I mean, the simple thing is changing from Coke to Pepsi. Well, I mean, me personally, I'm a Coke fan, but like, more money for the students is a great idea. So things like that, contacting the corporate companies would be great.
I think what they both said is a great idea, and I also think that, we are in New York City, and I think that, we have a lot of companies and surrounding things that maybe if we created a partnership with, like, just contacting people like the delivery service we're going to be using, or, I don't know, the people who supply the furniture, we just have to literally contact everyone and see if they're willing to put something in some type of fund, and I think we would be surprised with the responses that we get.
Steve?
My question is for all three, and I'd like to ask you guys if you could describe your leadership style in one word and why.
Good question.
A single word is vigorous. Because that's how I am. In conclusion, we gotta push our limits in life. Life is hard, but we have to get through all these obstacles until we accomplish all our goals.
The one word that goes through my head all the time about myself is abrasive. Any of my friends will tell you when I get set on something, I don't stop. And maybe it won't help so much when I'm talking about my beliefs, but it does help when it comes to student council, and everyone knows that once I start on an idea, I never stop.
Ambitious. I think I always try to give 110% in whatever I try and do, at least until I finish it. So definitely ambitious.
Okay, Okay, and now it's time for closing statements from each team. It's been great. You guys have all done a great job tonight. So let's hear it. Transistors, you can go first with your closing statements.
If the students don't feel that their opinions are being voiced, they're going to continue to have a negative perception that nothing's getting done, even though it is.
It's very important to us that we improve the presence of student government. Everyone here made the decision to come to SVA because we know that it's the best. And because it is the best, we all spend sizable amounts of money to attend. Many students feel like they're not getting enough of that money back. The role of VASA is to do just that. We'll use the student activities budget on things that the students want, and the only way to do that is to get all the students involved.
The three of us truly, truly love SVA, but there are always things that can be fixed. It can never be perfected enough, and if elected, that's exactly what we'll do. We won't rest until we have initiated a plan of action in which students who voice their opinions to those who can help will be rewarded with a fulfilling and exciting college experience. Our goal is not only to improve the way the next year goes, but rather to leave lasting marks on the way student government is seen and run.
And the Artisans, it is now your turn.
So like I said before in the beginning, if the Artisans are selected, then Michael Ruggier will not only be your president, but he'll be your friend, and friends help each other. And we're going to make SVA not only a working environment, but a fun environment. Because as a wise man once said, a day without laughter is a day wasted. Charlie Chaplin.
We appreciate the opportunity we've got meeting every single major. I've heard so much about SVA, my mind is completely blown, and I've learned so much, and I appreciate all of it. Altogether, we think we can make SVA as great as it already is, and even better.
Thank you all for staying. And I think there are more people here now. But definitely we're going to try and be proactive, I think, as far as what the students want. We're still going to ask students what they want out of their SVA experience if elected. And if not elected, we'll still ask students what they want. But really, I've gotten so many emails from so many different students, and I'm really truly grateful for them giving me my feedback. I think for the vandalism problem, as Lori mentioned earlier, one student had a really good proposal to have almost like a wall that is really untouched by the staff or by the people on the grounds at SVA, and it's just open to students. So students either can use it for their films, they can draw on it, they can do graffiti artwork on it, they can do installations, photography, they can display the artwork there. So that's definitely one thing that we're going to try to get done. We've also had a lot of requests to get tickets to the BAM Theater as well as to the Sunshine Theater, and a lot of people want to see the Book of Mormon musical. So we're going to try to get discount tickets to that a little bit more.
We have them.
And I think also people want more tickets available at different times. Because I think one complaint that I did receive was whenever, discounted Broadway shows to see Lion King come out, they always go pretty quickly. So within the 3 hours, you can go there, an hour after and they're already